Hi, what are your holiday plans? My holiday plans, or my holiday, starts in 2 days. And I started planning before Christmas, like I usually do. I went to the Airbnb and rented a house or scrolled houses for approximately 4 hours and then chose a house, sent the pictures to everyone, and read, of course, all hundreds of reviews that a house had. I usually read the latest reviews and then I skip the order to read the worst reviews because the worst reviews are somehow crucial. One time, for example, there were very good reviews, and then when I skipped the order, there was about 5 reviews stating that there were snakes. That was enough for me. I don't want to go to a place that maybe has snakes. I like snakes from a distance outside, but not inside and not in a close range. I'm not used to snakes. I'm from the north and there are no snakes in the north. Or there are very few and you never see them, although they are poisonous. But let alone. I found the house and I read the reviews and I sent the pictures to the kids and they looked at it and they were, yeah, that's fun, that's fine. And then we made the booking. So the house was set. Then it's good to have a few months before booking the flights, and they are booked too. Now it's to pick the seats and to book our luggage, which is not much, but it has to be booked in advance. But we are leaving day after tomorrow, 7:20 in the morning, so we have to be in the airport by 5 a.m. So it's early morning. Then we fly from here to airport in Italy, Rome, Fiumicino. We are there about 10 o'clock and then we rent a car. We have rented it already, but we have to pick it up, or 2 cars because there is 8 of us. We cannot be in the same car. And then we drive about 3 hours to the destination, which is a village of Montepennino. It's in Tuscany. It's about halfway from the boot of Italy. And it's a small village. There are just a few thousand inhabitants, and then there is a bigger village close by, like approximately 2 kilometers. So it's a half an hour walk in a heat. And then there is about 10 kilometers to Foligno, which is a little bit a bigger town. There is somewhat 60,000 inhabitants. So I am confident that we can find the grocery stores and everything we might need, doctors, offices, or that kind of things in Foligno. And of course there are churches and town squares and cafes and gelateries. Gelaterie is a ice cream bar in Italy and all that kind of things. So I suspect that we'll be traveling quite a lot to Foligno for the days and the evenings. But there are few places that I want to visit, and I want to take the rest of the kids to visit. There is, we went, me and my husband and my youngest, were in Italy, I think 3 years ago, and we went to the town of Assisi. It's approximately half an hour drive from the place that we are staying, and it's a remarkable place. I haven't ever been in that kind of place before. It's a hometown of Saint Francis of Assisi, and there is a basilica of Saint Francis that he is buried to, and it's a pilgrim site. So there are people coming to that place to worship, and it's not like Vatican, for example, St. Petersburg, St. Peter's Basilica, but it's more emotional. It's more tense. People are not there to take photographs and smile and drink coffee and have a gelato. They are there because they believe. And that was something that I got goosebumps to my hands even now, and I'm remembering that. But I want to take the rest of the kids to see that place. I know that my son will be thrilled. At least, of course, the others too, but my son somehow understands that kind of thing, what it is to really believe and really to feel. And there is the tomb of Saint Francis in the bottom floor of the basilica, and you are allowed to visit there. But there was a total silence. Nobody took photographs. There was very dim lighting. There were only candles, and some people were humming. And then there was this line coming from the door, walking really, really, really slowly and round the tomb and out the other way. And it was a mysterious place. It was the feeling that I had there. Even my daughter, that is usually asking questions all the time, was silent the whole way. And I've never been to a place like that. And when I looked at the people's faces, like really, like not noticeably, they were really tense, and they were really like present, fully present there. And people were touching, of course, the outer cord over the tomb that was isolated, of course, from the tombstone itself, which was carved in one stone. But if you have the chance, I really recommend you to go there. But if you are not interested at all about religious things, then skip it, because it's all about believing, and it's all about faith, the whole place. But of course, if you think about Saint Francis, it's the saint that is, at least where I grew up, the first one to be introduced to children, because he was a friend of children and the friend of animals, and he made this kind of a promise of poverty, not to own anything. He even took away his belt and replaced it with a robe. But he was born in, I think, 1200 year about, so it was 1200, to a wealthy family. But at some point, quite early in his age, he felt a God and turned around. He was going to this kind of warpath to conquer the next city, and he felt the presence of God, and he turned back and gave up everything, and went to church and heard that you should not own anything but go and preach. And so he gave up everything and started preaching, and had quite a lot of followers, and the followers come to Assisi. But it's a remarkable place, so I recommend, and if I have the chance, I will take pictures or film a clip in Assisi when we are there. And then there is a bigger town. It's called Perugia. There is something approximately 200,000 inhabitants, so it's a real town, and it's of course built to the ruins of Etruscus. So there are many layers of history. There isn't, I think, anything specifically magnificent in that town, but the churches, of course, the churches in Italy, in every town, they are magnificent. But you can go there. I've been there a few times before. So there is this main street that in the old part of the town that goes uphill to the church and to the square. And it's like being in this all-consuming museum. So you don't have to look for anything, or you don't have to buy a ticket to anything, and you don't have to go to anywhere, but just to walk and look around and see. So there is Chamber of Commerce. It was a pupil of Raffaello that painted that. And there is a fountain, and there is a well, and there is a church, and there is a town hall, and there is a nice place to have a gelato and cup of coffee. So it's this kind of place that you can just be. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to photograph anything. You don't have to participate. You can just enjoy it. You can just sit down and think that people have lived here 2,000 years before Christ. And now I'm here for a few hours. And of course, if you like chocolate, there is the Perugia chocolate factory in town. It's not, of course, in the center, but in the outskirts, but it can be found in the Google Maps. And if you want, you can go there and have a taste. Perugian chocolate is really nice. We have it in every Christmas. And then there were some smaller places to go. There is a village of Terni and Trevi. They are very close to one another, but the village of Trevi is said to be one of the most beautiful villages of the world. So that we are going to visit this time. And nearby it is the fountains that you can go and walk by and spend some time in shade outside. Because it's going to be hot. I know. I enjoy it. It's only plus 10 degrees Celsius outside now. So it's too cold to even be called summer. And of course the temperature inside drops all the time. So I'd be happy to go to Italy where it's 25 or 30 plus Celsius, or even 34. But it always calms down for the night to approximately 20 degrees. So you can air the house and be comfortable when you are inside. And of course, when you are outside, if you cannot bear it, then stay in the shadows and pick a fan. But there are much to see just by driving around. You can suddenly see aqueducti, which was a Roman invention to move water from one place to another. So it's like water pipes made of stone and lifted up. But it works, and it still works. And they are quite magnificent structures if you think about it, that they were crafted by hand without machines. I'm too tired. It's just the start of the holiday, so I go around with my words. And of course, there are many Etruscan burial sites. We were in Couple last summer, and I think that, or I assume that my daughter will find more this time. There was, with the village of Trevi, there is one burial site that is with this UNESCO listing. So that's something that we want to go to. But that's our first 11 days when we are in Tuscany. And then the children will fly back home and we will stay and we will go to Naples for another week. Just two of us, me and my husband. But we haven't made any plans to Naples. There is said that the last stop by train, we are going by train from Rome to Naples because there is no use to keep the car. We don't need car in Naples. So we drive back to Rome and they fly back from Fiumicino, and then we take the train from Fiumicino to Naples. And well, the castle that I was talking about is in the last stop before Naples. So we are going to, now I cannot remember that name. I cannot. I was talking about it with my husband, but I cannot. But that's something that we are going to visit. But the last time that we were in Naples, it was a heat wave. It was almost 40 Celsius in shadow. So I have that kind of feeling like it would be similar now, although it probably isn't. If it's only 30, 34, I can walk outside and it's fine. But if it's 37, so the same temperature as my body, then I don't function so well anymore. I know that doing too much can really take a toll on you. But there we have air conditioning on the Airbnb room that we rented. So that can be a relief, and that is. But of course in Tuscany we don't have. But one thing that I have always looked with these houses that we rent is that they are quite high. So this is also almost 400 meters from the sea level. So it should be a little bit cooler than in the valleys. But I'm really, really looking forward for our holiday. I hope that you have a chance to have a holiday too somewhere, and I will film you a bit when we are in Tuscany and when we are in Naples. I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.